How do you tolerate with things that are going slowly? How do you enjoy life here in the Philippines? How do you deal with stress? My name's Simon Mathers. I'm here to show you exactly how you deal with all of those things and do them well. Thanks for coming along to our video channel and enjoy this video. Well, it's Wednesday the 10th, which means our timber should be coming to finish the floor today, hopefully. We never know. This is the Philippines after all. Luna, what are you doing? Come on, girl. Come on. Come on, girl. So you're going to have wires hanging down to grow up the...
Yes.
You want to get down?
You will see it. Ano, tatay sa step this thing. Every day, it's the last day.
Well, overcast day today. See, they're cutting things back in the field behind me at the moment. Well, it's coming up to 10:05, so morning is getting on. Just having a cup of coffee, my second one of the day. First one was sort of 6:30 time, so covered in shit, which is the norm when you're in this environment. You're sorry the language. I mean, I say messy, mucky. You know, dogs jumping up at you inside chicken houses with bits falling on you. It is normal. Let me see what's going on. Hold on. Yeah, the timber hasn't arrived yet. So obviously I've got Ronnie. Ronnie's working, which has got him on the chicken house and enclosure that we're busy sorting out, because we've been losing chickens to dogs. Not our dogs, but other dogs that are managing to get into the compound at the sort of end where the chicken house is. So we're just, although it is enclosed, it's not effectively enclosed well enough. So we're going to ensure that's safe. We've got lots of new chicks. We've got 6 new chicks this morning. So and we've got eggs in various locations in the compound. You saw the eggs that we just collected this morning under our new house. So yeah, well, anyway, lots going on. So I'm gonna have a shower, and I'm got to get out and get a few things. Changing the subject entirely, a couple of people have been raising concerns about potential war with China and Russia and North Korea and Iran and co. And these are people mainly from the UK, Europe, that speak to me on a regular basis. Well, we are heading in that direction. I mean, we're talking it up. I mean, I think more from our own point of view than from, well, certainly Russia's got its own plan, its own agenda. There's no doubt about that. Well, Putin and his cronies have got their own agenda. Although I think, although you won't say it in Moscow, the Muscovites seem to be still living well, and also in St. Petersburg, but I think the rest of the country is starting to feel the pinch. And, Putin's very careful that he maintains a good balance. So the people that matter to him in terms of people close to him around the Kremlin, that's what he looks after. Once they start feeling the effects of the war, then he's going to have a big problem, and I don't think it's going to be too long before that will happen. Depending on how we put pressure on him with more sanctions, and put more pressure on the likes of India and others, including China, not to buy so much oil from them. Not so easy when you've formed the relationship the way Donald Trump has formed the relationship with everybody. But the people are concerned more of China. They look at China's strength and military strength and say, "Wow, could we cope with a invasion like that?" Well, China aren't going to invade Europe or America, but they certainly will defend themselves. So they're not going to hesitate in using their military might to defend their own country, their own land, their own rights. And we must understand that and respect that as well. I think that's what's important. So what are we doing messing around in the South China Sea and in the Pacific? That's the point. We're showing our strength in that area. Yeah, we've got 2 aircraft carriers there in the UK. Big deal. America have got a fairly hefty fleet, based in various locations. But America, if they are going to have a war with China, they want to obviously have the war with China closer to China and not so close to America. I mean, that's that's the USA mentality, and that's their thinking, of course. Hence why the Allied forces are showing strength in this area as well. Now the Philippines, Luzon Island, where I am, we are 600 kilometers from China, from Luzon, shall we say, that area. So we're not far away. It's like, what is it, Cape Town? Not even Cape Town. Yeah, Cape Town, Bloemfontein. Talk South African measurements. 600. We're talking 400 miles. Gives you an idea how close we are to China. So yeah, and there's nothing, just the sea between us and China in that respect as well. And we're close to Taiwan as well, very close to Taiwan, in fact. So we are in the fighting zone. So if America did want to kick off with a war with China in the fighting zone of Taiwan area, for example, we're right there. We're right in the part of it. We must understand that. We must appreciate that. More so than Europe, more so than anywhere else in the world. Yeah, so this is a reality where we are. So although we sit here, and most Filipinos don't really think of it that way, they see American forces landing at Clark or at whatever bases in Palawan, and they think, yeah, great, the Americans are here to defend us. Well, they're not really. They're not, I don't think they are, not at all. I think they're here to obviously send a message to China. China, I don't think, really has too much of an interest in invading the Philippines either, to be honest, no. But they'll certainly have an interest in knocking out American bases if it gets to a fight, and American bases are in the Philippines. So of course they're going to be hitting Clark. They're going to be hitting these areas because these are the areas that they would see as a threat to them. So Clark would be on China's, I've got no doubt, Clark will be on China's target list in the initial stages of a confrontation, as the various locations in the Pacific, as in Japan, as well as Taiwan, of course. But we're in that zone. We are in the zone as far as that goes. I don't see London in China's target zone. Maybe, yeah. They'll like to know what's coming out of London, ideas and these sort, but they're not going to be hitting London with missiles. No, definitely not. Here, Clark, certain locations in the Philippines, not impossible. If we get into a conflict area, this could well be where the war will be fought. Yeah, I'm not trying to alarm anybody. I don't want to put people off coming to the Philippines. I mean, I'm not going to move. I'm certainly not going to move. I'm going to sit it down in this environment. I don't, it's, when I say conflict zone, I mean the targets are the military targets, of course. I don't see a land war being fought on the Philippines. That would be stupid to think of that. But if that was to happen, then it would be a different scenario. We'd have to consider what we're doing, where we're heading. But I don't think it would be the UK. Maybe another island in the Philippines, somewhere else, or maybe an area. That's great. The thing with Philippines, Indonesia, which is sort of close to us on the other side, Indonesia, Malaysia. Well, Indonesia in particular is also got a very good relationship with China as well. So it's got a good relationship with the Philippines as well. But it's a lot of engineering, a lot of work going on in the Indonesia with China. So they rely on China for lots of infrastructure support. As do we. We must also understand, we have, our best mobile network is probably Huawei's infrastructure that puts it in. And, a lot of the developing infrastructure we've had, some of the island bridges we've created, are all coming from engineers out of China, and even some of the infrastructure in some of the cities, in buildings and malls and things like that, has a lot of Chinese involvement in them as well. So, yeah, and I have no problem with it. I think it's sensible to be having good business tidings with your neighbours and be progressing it that way. I certainly don't see China as the enemy. I see Russia as the enemy, for sure, because they are blatantly out to seize land and grow the Soviet bloc again and do a lot. Yeah, so I see them definitely out on that road. I don't see China. North Korea, yes, I do see them as a problem child, let's call it, more than anything else. but I'm hoping there that China will be the ones that they'll keep them in good order if they can. If war breaks out here, where would be the safest place to go? Probably China, to be honest. I'm not joking when I say it, but I'm not joking either. You know, maybe, would be. But I think, you know, in reality, I don't think I think it's very unlikely it would get to a stage where we would be in a position to have to move our location. Yeah, I think it's unlikely. More chance of the Russians putting missiles into London, I think, quite honestly. There's more chance of that. And that is real, that is reality. Because I think that's only takes some strange move and that could be the next step of the war, in the Ukraine war. It could be France and UK under some sort of threat, under some sort of attack. Dogs, really.
What's going on, guys? What's happening? What's going on here? Hello, Hoppier, Rufus, Hoppier. Hey, guys, come on. Come on. Come on. Wow. Don't do that.
Anyway, getting back to the things going on in our little homestead here on the compound. Yeah, we're waiting for the wood, as I said. Now that's because it's wood, particular wood we need. We can't just, we're not in a place where you can nip out to a timber merchant and get exactly what you want just like that very easily. You could, your choice, you know, if you want to get good timber, solid timber that's weathered, that's gonna stand the test of time, you've got to hunt the right wood. So your wood has to fit the requirement you'll need when you're building a house with it. It's not like building a bit of wood to buy a bit of wood to build a cupboard, and off you go to B&Q. It'd be nice to do that, but we can't do that. We've got to get the wood that is particular to what we need to handle the support of the flooring and everything else that goes on top of the frame. So that's why we've got it. We've paid for it. We're just waiting for it to be delivered now. And that will be the key now to get that. Once it arrives here, Chris has told me it's going to be quick to do the actual installation. But we've got to get it first. It's got to arrive here. Yeah, they did say, they promised by Wednesday. They said possibly Tuesday, but Wednesday will be the day. So Wednesday evening maybe. So we won't get any work done today either. But that's okay. You know, I'm not worried. It would have been nice to have been a bit more advanced. I wanted to be in the place by end of September, and now it doesn't look like that's going to happen. Well, I'm sure it's not going to happen. I can assure you of that now. It's going to be, I don't want to move too soon. I mean, Richie says, well, we could move once all the walls are up and we've got the electrical, we connect the electricity and we've got the water supply connected. We can move into the shed. No, I don't want to do that. I want it to be complete before we start moving into it. We don't need to move it. We're here, and you know, although it's a little bit cramped, we've survived here for the last year, so we can survive here another few months while we finish it properly. And so I think that's the right thing to do. Don't you? I think it is. But maybe after a few more months, if we still haven't got it built, maybe then I'll consider, well, let's pitch a tent in the back garden, something like that. camping. You know, it's delaying my car purchase as well because because it's mayhem around the compound with other things going on, chicken coops being built, and I'm going to create a driveway. I don't want to get working on a driveway until we've got the house more or less complete. So, yeah. And I don't want to have a car and have it stuck out in the front area, all day, all night when we're not using it. So, and we're not needing it really. At the moment we've got the golf cart working really, really well. And we're just going to get something done on it today, actually. In fact, let me go and ask Richie what time we are going to town today, because I think she's doing a roast beef joint, as it's my day off. We always do something special, like it's the weekend, but it's not. It's sort of a weekend because I'm not working. I don't work Tuesdays, Wednesdays, or Thursdays. I spend my time doing stuff with Richie mainly. Oh, there she is in the kitchen. What time are we going to do our errands in town?
After lunch.
Oh yes, and I've told them about the roast beef.
Yeah.
Can we have a look and see how it's going? I'll go and have a look quickly. Ooh. Look at that, a nice roast beef. Are we having Yorkshire pudding with it?
No.
No?
I'll make later when Mike is home.
When Mike is home.
Because we have no milk.
So what we're looking forward to is the roast beef. The roast beef is something that we don't have very often. In fact, is this the first time we're having a roast beef in 2 years?
No, here, yes. Here in the Philippines.
In 2 years, yeah. This is the first roast beef we're having. We've had beef before, but roast beef, as in the traditional English roast beef, this is the first time we're having it.
I think I'd like to go to Robinson Supermarket in Japan, or when you're in Cabanatuan, because
Yes.
they have nice meat products as well, partly better than SM.
Beef products you're talking about. Oh, right.
You
Well,
know,
I'll have a look. Well, this is the beef we had, the topside mince we had, prime mince.
Yeah.
That was pretty good. Coarse.
But this one, I noticed it's like a long one.
Yes.
It's not a whole piece of meat. It's so I had to roll it.
Yes. Well, that should be okay still. Let's see. Well, the proof will be in the pudding, as they
In
say.
the eating.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, the roast beef was a bit of a failure. I'm not saying it in the kitchen, but yeah, I anticipated it was a bit of a risk, and Richie and I both said, yeah, okay, let's chance it, let's risk it. Because they weren't sure what it was. And here they don't roast beef. If they cook beef, they usually boil it for tenderness, and then they might slice it. And when he said to me in the Robinsons, boiling it, I said, no, I'm not going to boil it. I want to roast it. It's a roast, an English roast. I want a nice piece of top side or silver side, or rump, or top rump, or could you give me some top rib? That's on the forequarter side, but in an area where it's tender as well. And he didn't know any of those. He didn't know top side, he didn't know silver side, he didn't know rump, and he didn't know ribeye, or top rib. So he knew what a tenderloin was, a fillet, and he had some of those. But I didn't want tenderloin. I don't particularly like fillet steak actually anyway. It's okay for breakfast, but it was not what I was looking for. I was looking for a roast, an English roast, and so I wanted some hindquarter beef that was fairly lean, that I could roast, and that would be tender. And I was explaining it to him, and he couldn't really get it. So anyway, the meat we had the flavour was okay actually. It wasn't bad, and there was a bit of gristle in it. But it's there's a chewiness, of course, because it's obviously not what I was looking for. Richie was a bit disappointed, but I said, don't worry, it's still okay. We chop it up and we can either give it to everyone. We'll have some. I'll eat it. I mean, it's not bad. It's not train smash, but I wouldn't really offer it to my dogs. I mean, no, I'm joking. Dogs would love it. Dogs would. It would be gone in 5 minutes. I wouldn't really want to offer it to the family because it's not roast beef. They're anticipating an English roast beef, and they're going to think that's what it is. They're not going to think much of it, I don't think. Bearing in mind, many people here have false teeth, so they wouldn't eat it. They wouldn't be able to eat it anyway. They wouldn't be able to chew it anyway. Anyway. As it so happens, I'm going to be probably picking my teeth for the next couple of hours as well. We had a bit of rain, 12 o'clock time, till finished a little, about half an hour ago.
Yan, Lana. Ay, pinipicturean. Pinipicturean kay Simon.
Oh, the Champion Marketplace. 50 pesos kilo.
Mga tayo, Nikki.
Ate.
Ay, si Abay. Si Abay na ako nilahat kanina. Painit ang botsot. Say ko madami. Nangukuha pa tayo pareho na. Mais niya dyan.
Just want to make the point, the Christmas music in the background.
Oh yeah, that's what Roxanne said. Mom, it's only, egg.
It's egg yolk.
Just like...
Well, it's been...
Daddy.
Na akong mag-taste ka, no?
Kaya sa pang.
Galing kami.
Nasa pang daw.
Well, as you saw, I went to town rather late to get a few bits with my mum and with Borchog, and pick Mikey up on the way back from school as well. So just giving the dogs another run now down here. Apart from Rufus, who's doesn't want to come out of his cage. I'll see if he'll come out now. Yeah, well, just talking about my dogs. Rufus, the youngest but the biggest. Yeah, he's so accustomed to being here in the house and in the front yard and the gates, and the reason I've been watching him more carefully is because he is the youngest. And he's also the biggest, and he also eats everything. The other two are in control because they're older. So hierarchy is, Izzy is top dog, and then Hoppier is second dog, and they're both bitches, of course. And then Rufus is the only male, and he gets on well with them. But they eager to get out there into the rest and play with the other dogs in the compound and rough around and take over. The other dogs scarper really because Izzy and Hoppier rule when they're out there, and they're fine. They take care of themselves anyway. Rufus has a habit of eating anything he sees, that may be edible in his mind. And that's what I've got to be careful about. I've got to watch him like a hawk at the moment, because he's still very much juvenile in all aspects, and he's got to watch what he puts in his mouth. And in the compound beyond our gates, there are lots of things that he could eat and damage himself with, possibly. So that's why I keep him close when I put him out. But now I'm suddenly giving him a bit more freedom as he's getting a bit older. I opened the gates today. The two ran out. Rufus runs to the gates, looks at me, looks at the other two running off into the down to the bottom area, and stops and comes back to the gate. So I feel a bit sorry for him. But he just didn't want to go out tonight, He looked at Luna and the puppies. He knows Luna, he plays with Luna, Looked at the puppies, wasn't too sure about them, didn't know what to think. And he just turned round and went back and sat there, waited for Hoppier and Izzy to come back. So, yeah, it's the dog life, as they say. What can I say? Anyway, the only other thing I wanted to report on tonight was the wood has not arrived. The wood, what a surprise. Yeah, so Wednesday night, and it's now 6 o'clock, just coming up nearly 6 o'clock, and nothing's arrived. We had a message saying it was coming from some other location in Nova Sea, and would be arriving at the depot here today, and then they would be cutting it to our spec, and so it would be tomorrow now that it would be here. So that's not quite what they said to me last week, or said to Richie via translation to me. So anyway, not a train smash anyway, as far as that goes, but it's one of those things. Yeah. So tomorrow, and I guess it won't be until tomorrow afternoon as well. If they've got to cut it, it's going to be another problem. Now, what I've said to them, because I'd like to get some naturally varnished trees or tree trunks as the posts for the outer part of the terrace. At the moment we've got wood there, it's nice solid pieces of timber there. But I was saying to Richie, I would actually like to replace those with some nice trunks of these trees. If we can get 4 matching ones, or 4 that are not matching, because you can't match a tree, 4 nicely shaped, same thickness, that would be a nicer effect on the front. And then obviously get them varnished. That would be really, really cool. So that's an extra 4 pieces of wood that I've asked them to see if they can find for us. So they're doing that, and then obviously the timber then for the window frames and the doors. That's the only thing left now in timber that we've got to order. Because I wasn't sure which type of wood would be best suited. I'm sort of thinking mahogany. The mahogany flooring for the centerpiece, that's still under negotiation. For the sort of the area, and this is the problem, when the minute they see me, they think, the price suddenly escalates, and that's one of the things I've got to be careful of constantly. If I let Richie and Chris, her brother, deal with it, we'll keep the price low. And of course, the minute they see there's a foreigner involved, they straight away see dollar signs and the prices start going up. So we're careful. That's why we're also taking. This is the other thing to be aware of with a house when you're involved in it. You've got to be very, very careful that you do work in some respects at a distance with your wife or partner, and their family to ensure you get the right deal. Very key. You know, look after your family and they'll look after you, as I always say. If you don't look after your family, they'll rip you off, like everybody else does, of course. So it pays to look after everybody, yeah, absolutely. And so, yeah, but with this particular wood, because I was dealing with them directly on Facebook, they know, you know, they only had to know by talking to me that I know what I'm looking for. So the price was negotiable, but Chris is saying it's expensive for what it is. He says he can get mahogany at a cheaper price than that. So that's what we're looking to find at the moment. I can't, you know, having no knowledge of mahogany in the Philippines, and to me it's a lot cheaper than it is in mahogany in the UK. Is a fortune, costs a fortune. So I don't know, but we've got a bit of time on that. The important thing at the moment, we want to get the full frame down and the frame across, and then we'll put an underlay of floorboard down there as well. So we'll have marine ply on the ground, and then whether we put floorboards or whether we put wooden tiles, it will be in the rooms, the bedrooms, etc. We'll decide. So we're in no rush. We're not rushing. I want to get the price right, obviously. There are things there's many other things we can use on the floor. It's just that I'm in my mind, a nice mahogany polished floor in the middle section is just would be very nice, be very attractive, and going out then onto the terrace. It's like a T, so it'd be coming through the middle of the house and then out onto the terrace as well, like a T, a Model T, as they say. Yeah, I'm still excited. I'm still excited about things, but patience is the key. And like I said at the beginning of the video about dealing with slowing things down, dealing with stress, you've got to, you know, and here's me, I'm a seasoned individual here, and you know, I do want to get things moving, but at the same time I do know that if I try and rush things along too much at my pace, I'm gonna end up spending more money. I'm gonna end up not feeling as happy. So, you know, rather sit back in the evening, enjoy one of these, and think about tomorrow and what tomorrow will bring better. So yeah, my closing words on this video, which has been a long video today, when it comes to the art of managing the practice of slowing down, kids are all excited outside, hear them playing around. You just gotta go with the flow. And you know, today I ended up doing things I didn't intend. I wanted to get something done on our vehicle, which I didn't get done today, but I did manage to sort out the chickens with new laying baskets, and new drinking gravity drinkers, so that we can, you know, they can drink their water and it stays clean. So I'm not constantly cleaning out their water trays, bowls. So yeah, so we've got those in place. Ronnie's been working late now fixing them. And nesting baskets. I've got some more nesting baskets as well. And tomorrow I've got to get the chicken wire. We've got everything else. Got the posts in. Got the chicken wires just at the one side's got to be finalised so I can keep them totally secure from other dogs. Chickens are doing well though, I must say. They're healthy. Somebody was saying to me the other day, how healthy our chickens look. I said, well, Yeah, they eat enough. He says, what do you feed them? I said, well, I feed them corn, I feed them rice meal, and I let them out and about to gather forage for worms and things like that. So I really look after my chickens well. In fact, Waitrose would, in the UK, I would definitely be the Waitrose supplier for chicken. You know, Bernard, what's his name? Bernard Matthews for his turkeys, yes, if you remember. Beautiful, 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 from Norfolk, beautiful. I nearly said Bernard Manning, that's a different person. Can't talk about him so much. But yes, I hear Richie coming now. She's got a cough. I can hear her cough distinctly. But yes, it's been a day of some little frustrations, but generally I'm chilled and I mean, because I said right in the beginning, well, this is the Philippines. We'll see if it is going to be Wednesday, and it's not Wednesday. I mean, when I was telling you the other day we're going to have the timber on Wednesday, I said it with half tongue-in-cheek. So we'll see if it comes tomorrow. The fact they've had to bring it from somewhere else and they're still going to cut it to our specs says to me we're not going to get it before the afternoon at the very earliest, which means Chris won't be doing it tomorrow either. Thursday, more than likely only start then on Friday. So Friday, Saturday will be the time frame where we'll get the floor fully completed as far as the central part and then we can get the plywood down. Yeah. Anyway, guys, have a good evening. Take care. Bye-bye.